Hello, welcome to Sunday Night's Hotline Live with Record Sport. My name is Daniel Coe. I'm delighted as ever to be joined on the Hotline Live with NordVPN, the best VPN for watching all of your sporting events when you're on your travels, by the one and only Keith Jackson and Scott McDermott. Guys, how's it going?
Yeah, aye, all right. I mean, I've got a tea here, but I could do with something stronger, and I think this is going to be the way of things between now and the end of the season. I'm not sure this nation of ours is ready for what we're about to go into. Because, no, seriously, people will be having meltdowns here. This is absolute box office. It's brilliant. You can't take your eyes off it. And this felt like a massive few days. But do you know what? It just rolls over. It rolls over into next week. It rolls over into the week after that. Every weekend is going to have this level of tension and anxiety, and people are going to lose their stuff over this. Nothing more certain than that. But it's absolute brilliant to watch.
And it was brilliant that it fell on a weekend, obviously FA Cup. So Sky kind of showcased the two games on the Sunday. I mean, what an advert for Scottish football and this title race. Not incredible.
I was actually speaking, Scott, with Neil Doncaster tail end of last week, and he is hearing that there's a lot of interest, and he must be getting this feedback from Sky. You would imagine a lot of interest down south. There's a lot of new eyes on our game because they can't get enough of it. I think the English Premier League season's been fairly drab, mundane. It's Man City would blow you to sleep. I know they're great, and I know nobody's supposed to say a bad word about Pep, but he'd get the game stopped. This here, our little product that we are putting forward and showcasing this season, it's drama packed. It's incredible. The stories have been incredible. Yeah, okay, sometimes the quality's not Premier League standard, but in terms of the stories and the drama and the passion, it's a different world. And I think we're in a really healthy place. I've just written a column for tomorrow. I know Hearts have ended up in the end of a scalping today, but none of this happens if it's not for Hearts. So we all owe them a massive kind of thank you for helping to put this kind of dream scenario together where we're going to have 3, possibly 4 teams going at each other all the way now. You just know it's got the final day written all over it.
Aye. Well, look, as you mentioned, it's been a day of twists and turns in the Premiership title race. Obviously, Celtic, that dramatic win at Rugby Park. Huge win for Motherwell as well over Aberdeen. We'll come to all that. I caught up with Record Sports' Michael Gannon and Craig Swan at Rugby Park earlier on, and we'll catch up with them later. But, Scott, Ibrox, as Keith just said, monumental win for Rangers. It was a game that we said in the hotline the other night. They had to win, and they did.
They did, and it was an absolute cracker, just as we've touched on. I mean, a brilliant game. I know Jack was saying there Hearts took a bit of a skeleton, but I thought, until Shamiti made it 3-2, at least for an hour, Hearts were well in the game. I mean, we're more than a match for Rangers, and that's why, they shouldn't lose heart, for wanting a better expression, because they came here and matched up to Rangers, competed, obviously going front twice. And another day they might have taken something, but no, ultimately Rangers deserve to win it, and they end up. I mean, Yusuf Shamiti, a hat trick. What an enigma this boy is. I mean, it's incredible.
Just a few days ago, Scott, that game at the Park, he was woeful the other night.
Aye, that's why I say enigma, because Daniel, he's literally going from one extreme to the other. And no, I'll hold my hands up along with. There must have been thousands of Rangers fans thought he didn't deserve to start the game today. They'd have wanted Nadiri up front on his own. Danny Rowe sprung a bit of a surprise going with 2 of them up top, but it was Shamiti that absolutely stole the show. And not only did he apart from his goals, he put in a really good performance, but the goals, 3 excellent finishes, something that you would associate with him this season. I mean, he's turned up in 2 of the biggest games of the season so far, obviously away to Celtic at Parkhead, and then in this one today. And it's interesting because I was talking to somebody just post-match, they're talking about how he is a bit of an enigma, but I think the thing you need to remember about Shamiti is, and I'm guilty of it as well, he's only 21 years old. I think you forget, because of the 8 million fee because of the kind of hullabaloo of him coming in, the fact that he hasn't, set the head on fire in his first season, he's had a huge amount of criticism. But you think 21 years of age, and he's still very young. So
he also Scott, he doesn't look like a 21-year-old because of his physicality and his frame and all that. You don't look at him, and so maybe that's kind of feeding into the thing as well. But I mean, right. you kind of look at him, you go, what are you supposed to make of this? And I know nothing makes sense anymore. I know we've disappeared into the twilight zone. But for Chermiti to be, he's either an £8 million waste of money, or he's a potentially priceless game changer in this. Yeah, and there's no grey area here.
No, going from one extreme to the other. Jack, even from Wednesday night to today, I mean, you look at Wednesday night, poor performance at Motherwell, misses a big chance. It's about the only chance he gets in the game. Contrast that with today, and it's so stark, the way he's holding the ball up, the way he's linking up with Nadiri for the first goal. He scores a brilliant header for Skov Olsen's cross for the second.
Did anybody think he had that in his locker?
Exactly.
No chance.
And even the third goal to get a hat-trick, and I know people might think, he's on his own, he's got time to shape it up and to shoot. But earlier this season, chances like that were being sclaffed and were being wasted. He puts it away. He puts it away with a bit of aplomb, and it's been an incredible day for him. And the atmosphere here, and I know a lot's been made of that this season. The noise when that third goal went in, and then obviously, when the full-time whistle, it's as loud as it's been at Ibrox. And we said that the other night. This was always going to be a pivotal day for Rangers. If they'd have lost, I think the title was beyond them. I think a draw would have even made it really difficult, just with the psychological boost Hearts would have got from not getting beat here. But the fact Rangers have showed a bit of character, a bit of resilience to come back twice for going down, and then to go and bury Hearts with that kind of performance, and obviously take it to 2 points at the top. It's a monumental day for Rangers in the title race, and obviously puts them right back in it after Wednesday night.
We've got a ton of comments coming in already, guys. And if you're watching at home, you want to get involved in the conversation, please do so in the comment section, and I'll try my best to get through them. Let me throw a few of them at you now, guys, if that's okay. William Holmes says, the gaffer got everything spot on today, referring to Danny Rowe. This one here from Chris says, Thelwell's a genius now with the Rangers supporters. Your loyal Muppet says, Chermiti is like Marmite, but I'm starting to like the taste. William says, he shows up for big games. I can live with that. Rebel says, Rangers were impressive. Got to give credit where credit's due. And Marzuno says, what kind of brilliant manager with the best squad in the country loses a 9-point lead twice in the same season? So plenty of comments coming in. And see, just to go back to that first one, guys, the gaffer got everything spot on today. We gave Danny Rowe a lot of stick the other night, and I think rightfully so. But you mentioned earlier, Scott, when he went with both Nadiri and Chermiti. Just personally for me, I thought that really kind of spooked Hearts a wee bit and really preoccupied them.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, early in the game, Daniel, I thought Rangers looked very susceptible. Whenever they lost the ball, Hearts looked really dangerous. Every time Hearts get forward, it looked as if they might score. Obviously, Rangers had a real bit of slackness for the first goal for Fernandez and Raskin getting in a bit of a mix-up. So even at that point in the game, I was still thinking, has he got it right here with the two up front? Because I felt as if they were lacking a wee bit of width. Obviously, Skov Olsen and Mikey Moore were coming infield a lot. It was almost like this kind of 4-2-2-2 system.
Exactly. It was the John Barnes.
And it wasn't. I thought early on in the game it wasn't quite working for them. And I'm thinking, why did he not just play Skov Olsen and Moore wide, Diomande in midfield with Nadiri up front? And I'm thinking after Wednesday night, why is Chermiti starting this game? And fast forward 75 minutes and he gets a hat trick. So look, as you say, credit when it's due. Danny Rowe did get it right today. I don't think that makes us wrong for criticising him in midweek, because I think Romans, for instance, proved today why he should have started in midweek. I just think we've said before, he's just a different specimen altogether to Magoma at left back.
He looks a top player, Scott Romans.
Looks really good, really good. And I thought even Skov Olsen took a bit of time to get into the game, but that cross for Chermiti's header was brilliant for the right wing. So, and obviously he was left out in midweek as well. So, no, listen, Danny Rowe made changes today. he changed it up with the system, surprised a few people, and ultimately they've went and won a huge game 4-2. So you need to say he got it right.
And seeing the comments, Keith, Kevin refers to Hearts and says Hearts are starting to look like a tired team now. Is that a wee bit harsh? I thought they did obviously look tired in the second half, but
I thought they were really good in spells of the game today. And I tell you who's really impressing me is Mark Leonard. What a great bit of business that looks to be. When they were missing Cammy Devlin, they've identified this young guy, and I think that his impact has been really. I mean, the biggest compliment I can pay him is that. Not saying that you don't notice that Cammy Devlin's not there because he's such an important player, but he's done a very similar job for them. Great goal today. I like the way he passes the ball around in midfield. He's always composed. He's always looking to play it forward. I just like the look of him. Could Hearts do with Cammy Devlin and Lon Shanklin back as quickly as possible? Absolutely. Of course, they're going to miss these players. These players are quality players. And you're talking about two players that were sharing the armband at points earlier this season. But it is demanding on Hearts. But they didn't have any Europe and they don't have any cup games. So they will get a bit of breathing space in this run-in. They will get time. They will get players back. I'd be fascinated to know now just how far away Shankland and Cammy Devlin are, because I think Derek McInnes will be desperate to get them back to beef up his options.
I think Braga was brilliant again today.
Yeah,
Jack. That header was. I mean, where we sit at Ibrox, got a brilliant view of it down at Copeland Road, and I mean the header. It looked like he was having to like contort his body just to get the right connection on the header. He gets above John Souttar, who's at least a head taller than him, and he manages to give Jack Butland no chance with putting it in about the only place he could put it for that angle. I thought it was a brilliant goal, brilliant finish, and again I thought he caused Rangers problems with it.
What he's done there, Scott, is he's actually got himself. He's managed to get Souttar wrong side, and he's got in front of him, and Souttar's out of position, isn't able to really attack the ball. But that's because he's pinned. Braga's pinned him. It was just brilliant play, and he's not a big tall guy. He's not a guy you would think should be able to live with John Souttar in there. But everything that you said there is right. He's physically managed to pin Souttar and make it impossible for him to attack the ball. It was brilliant play. It was a brilliant game, and it was to and fro. And you're absolutely right, Scott. When I say about Hearts got a bit of a scudding, that's only in the scoreline. It's not in the way the game went. Because the only thing that I would say is at 3-2 Rangers, you knew it wasn't ending 3-2 Rangers. There was going to be another goal, and that goal could have came at either end of the pitch.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. Just interestingly, one of the comments says, how much could Hearts get for Braga in the summer? I'm not trying to punt them, but it's just an interesting prospect. What he'd be worth now? I mean, probably the best striker in the country throughout this season.
Well, I think he's probably been the best pound for pound signing, I would say, in the Scottish Premiership this season. Daniel, I think they picked him up for next to nothing for the second tier in Norwegian football, and I think he'll have his admirers in the summer. I mean, Hearts will obviously want to hold on to him. They've got him under contract. Hearts will be in Europe next season. But I always go back to Tony Bloom kind of famously told a Hearts fans forum no long after he came in and made his investment. He said, look, don't get too attached to these players because they won't be here long. And that's the model. Braga definitely comes into that category. But in terms of how much they could command now, it'll be a lot more than they paid for him, put it that way.
Don't get too attached to him, just make up his own song, his own theme tune.
Exactly. I'd be heartbroken when he goes.
Listen, do you know what? This is the model. And it probably will mean from season to season there'll be a bit of a turnover. But, I'm not sure, that it necessarily will be a big kind of change up every summer. I think part of the plan might well be to try and keep a team together for a couple of years, keep the big performers, because Claudio Braga's price isn't going to go down. Another season like this, and whatever you look to achieve in the market for him this summer, well, who's to say you're not doubling it at the end of the following season? And what are you going to do on the park in that time with Claudio Braga doing what he's doing? Hearts have been an incredible success story this season. Everything about them. And let's not forget, they've got beat today. They're still top of this league. They're still in pole position.
That's why I'm saying they shouldn't lose heart, Jack. As you say, I think they were well in the game today for at least an hour and caused Rangers no end of problems, especially in that first half. So of course they'll be disappointed with the 4-2. And Derek McInnes, there'll be things he's unhappy with, but I don't think he'll be too downbeat. Honestly, I mean, they've already beat Rangers twice this season. Rangers had to win this game. In terms of sheer necessity, Rangers were always going to be up for this, in terms of the crowd and that as well. And the fact they've came here and they've scored twice, been well in the game, competed, I just don't think the Hearts should lose faith in what they're doing. They'll be looking at it. I think it flashed up a wee minute ago about the Hearts fixtures. I think they've got 4 out of the next 6 at Tynecastle. They know Hearts and Rangers and Celtic have to come to Tynecastle post split. Honestly, I don't think I think that'll be the message. I've not heard Derek McInnes' post match press conference, but I think the message to his players has to be: look, dust ourselves down and go again. It's a defeat against a good team away from home. It's going to happen. They've not lost many games this season at all. I think they'll go again. But as Keith said, they are missing. I think they are missing Shankland and Devlin just because of in terms of the strength of the squad. No, you mentioned Mark Leonard coming in, and I agree, he's been brilliant. But see if you had him and Devlin and Beningame all competing or coming off the bench. Same with Braga and Shankland. Now they've got Matos up front, but they need strength and depth. And just with those two in particular missing, it is hindering them a wee bit just now. I think they'll need them back as quick as possible.
I think one thing to say is, Scott, Celtic haven't got to go to Tynecastle post-split.
Yeah. Is that right? So
Hearts go to Celtic Park.
Right. Yeah.
And I've got a funny feeling that might be the final day of the season.
Imagine that. Well, see, I was going to say there, I put the table up on the screen there a wee minute ago just to point out that like 11 games left for Hearts. See, if you think about it, Celtic and Rangers have to play each other a couple of times. Really, what do you need from that 11 games? 8 wins to win the title? You'd have thought 8-9 wins. I know it's hard to predict, but all I'm saying is Hearts could be 8 games away from winning the title. I mean, definitely no reason to lose heart.
No, I'm just trying to work out the kind of points total that would what we're saying, 8.
Well, they'd have
another 24 points on top of 57.
71.
It's not a lot of points, is it, to win a league? But it does look as if, you know, at one point I thought 85 points would be required for the title this year. It's looking as if it's going to be a lot less than that now. I think if you can get above 70 towards mid 70, that might be enough. But I mean, you genuinely can't take your eyes off it, and you don't know what's coming next. It's so mad. We'll talk about what went on at Rugby Park earlier on today, which again is just literally glued to every second, every kick of the ball, and it's brilliant for Scottish football. What a shot in the arm! It's just, and I hope everybody, and I know everybody's all over this. Everybody's gripped by it. As I said, I think it might not be great for anxiety levels up and down the land, but wow, I mean, it's what the game's meant to be all about.
Chris points out in the comments 81 points. That would be.
Yeah, you can't count, Daniel. I was going to butt in there. I thought, no, I better not.
Thanks.
That's right. That's right. 81.
81. There you go. My maths teacher at right now is watching us. Like
that would be 8 wins. I don't think they're far off, Daniel. I think out the 11 games, if Hearts get 8 wins out of that, they'll not be far off, because can you see Celtic and Rangers going and doing much better than that in the 11 games, winning 9-10 of those 11? Know the way it's been so far, know the way the season's been so far. We've taken an incredible run, and as you say, obviously Celtic and Rangers need to play each other again, so it's going to be fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Who's your money on, Scott?
There you go.
Oh God, how many times have we been asked this question?
I know, but we went into this little block of games saying, this could be a potentially defining moment or plot twist in this season. So now that we're out the other side of them, where's your money?
Oh God, I don't know. Honestly, I genuinely don't know. I mean, you're looking at Celtic today. unbelievable resilience and character. I mean, to go as they seem to do every week now to the last minute and get winners and equalisers, and I mean, people talking about this as the worst Celtic team in years. They're not losing games. Martin O'Neill just doesn't lose games. But you then throw the European thing, and I mean, they've got to play Stuttgart on Thursday night, and then they get into a big game. I think it's Hibs next Sunday at Celtic Park. No, the squad's not that big. It's not got that much kind of strength and depth in it. You think, right, no, the same team can go again and again. You saw even today at Rugby Park, he's hooked 3 players at half time who weren't doing it. He's had to rely on others. So I think, can Celtic really keep that up? No, with a couple of European games. Rangers, this will give them a huge boost. They've obviously got Celtic at Ibrox to come, and if they won that, it would give them a huge step for them. And obviously Hearts, I'm saying they've got home games coming up, but you wonder, no, does this defeat, no, does it kind of dent the confidence a wee bit? It's so tight, it's unbelievable. I genuinely, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Jacko?
Where's your money, Keith?
I've told you, I've I had a wobble mid-race, didn't I? And I think I jumped off Celtic's horse and onto the Hearts one. And I'm just going to stay on it because of where they are. They've managed to come through. This was a really difficult week. An Edinburgh derby and a trip to Ibrox. I have to tell you, I did say if they can take 4 points, however they got them, in whatever kind of set of circumstances, if they could take 4 from those 2 games, they'd be in a really, really strong position. They're still in a really strong position, just not a really, really one. But right now, as Scotty said, the way the fixtures are going to fall, I think they've got a chance now to try and build momentum, get some players back from injury. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Hearts, albeit I do add for the time being.
We've got tons of comments coming in and plenty on Celtic. And I mentioned earlier on, guys, that I caught up with Record Sports, Craig Swan and Michael Gannon at Rugby Park not long after the full-time whistle. Do you want to have a listen to see what they said?
Nah, I prefer just listening to me, Scotty.
Me too, but let's give the guys let's make them feel involved. Guys, I don't know what you thought of it at Rugby Park, but I don't even know what to say after that. Awful in the first half, Celtic. But Martin O'Neill's teams again, they find a way. Somehow.
Yeah, it was an epic day. I don't think anybody... Well, in some respects, you couldn't see it happening at half-time, but given the way Celtic have been doing things in the last little while, you maybe could. But it was, as you say, Daniel, the first half performance from Celtic was an absolute disaster. I don't know where they were going, what they were doing. So many players not on it. But again, we've mentioned it time and again, the resilience that they've got. I mean, listen, I'm sure we'll come to it, Michael and I and yourself will come to it in a bit. There is a lack of cohesion there with Celtic at the moment. They're playing in moments. They're relying on moments and things to happen, but they just keep pulling it out of the fire, and you've got to give them credit for that.
Aye. Martin O'Neill says that managing Celtic isn't good for their health. It's not great covering them for your health either. three last gasp goals in a week to rip up Match Sports again. I didn't think it was coming today. I keep saying that I think performances are going to catch up them at some point, and I thought today it was catching up them at half time. They looked dead and buried, but like Swanee says, fair play. I mean, I think Martin O'Neill might have picked the wrong team to start today. Didn't work out. First half was pretty abysmal for Celtic. You've got to say, Kilmarnock were outstanding, by the way.
Very good.
Really bold. You McCann, they kind of almost with 2 up front. They were a major threat. They were deserving their lead. Could have been further ahead, to be honest with you. Second half, I know with these changes, Celtic did get a bit more momentum. Kilmarnock were still a threat as well, by the way. I mean, even if it went to 2 each, they still posed a problem, hit the bar, still had a chance at the back post. Yep. But Celtic kept on going, like Swanee says, and they relied on in moments of individualness. Weirdly, I mean, this kind of weird season, but Celtic scored 2 goals from long throws. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a Celtic team that became long throw specialists? But 2 of the 3 goals, I mean, one of them, Sebastian Trinecki's goals, top draw, top corner. And then the other 2 are from long throws. And then the one, 96 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely spin for Fanchara and ball across the box. And Killie, it's just that stage of the game, and nights when everybody's just defending the goal and they all rush into the width of the posts. and just don't really pick up runners and don't do the right things, and Naroho's going to feed them. But fair play to him with that finish as well. So, no, incredible game.
We obviously the pictures on the screen now, guys, of that last 1 minute celebrations, and it is a big day of celebration for Celtic, a huge win. But going back to the first half performance, still big question marks over a lot of players. I mean, Hatate again today. I know we've talked to death about it, but he was a man down again. Adamu as well. Mavuka couldn't even get on the bench.
Yeah.
There's a lot still not right.
So many players, Daniel. Rio Hatate is nowhere near it at the moment, and obviously the injuries sustained to Arne Eggles then becomes an issue where Celtic are back to square one, if you like, in the middle of the park, because of, as I say, a body of light relying on. I mean, Hatate probably wouldn't have featured if Eggles is fit, and the difference with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, come on, Michael and I spoke about it during the game. The difference to Callum McGregor as well, giving him a back. Because Rio Hatate and Benjamin Negan aren't anywhere near Callum McGregor for the majority of the game, and he ends up getting swamped. They're floating into pockets to try and make things happen, but they're no influence in the game. If they're not getting the ball in the half turn or getting into finishing something off, they're not doing anything. The centre halves were getting a hellish time off the two front players, John Jules and Joe Hugel. Dom Thompson at left back was the best player on the pitch. Jan couldn't get a kick. Yeah. I mean, so as you say, as Michael says, so many disappointing. The two Killie centre halves could have had cigars out playing against Junior Adama.
Aye. I mean, middle of the park. I mean, Killie's the kind of diamond, kind of middle of the park. I thought Brad Lyons and Davy Watson in there first half were just totally in control of it. I mean, he kept turning the ball over and getting at Celtic and getting the ball out wide and causing an issue. It was just a constant problem for Celtic because Hatate, like you say, there's not a single guy out, but he was just drifting about the park. He wasn't disciplined in his positioning. He wasn't making tackles. He wasn't keeping possession. He wasn't making passes either.
The only reason he gets singled out, Michael, is because we all know he's such a good player.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing. It's not because it's just picking on a guy that's not got it. Everybody knows that Rio Hatate is an outstanding footballer, but for whatever reason, he has not done a stroke this season.
No, he's not getting the ball. And I don't think defensively Benjamin Negan was that great either. In terms of when they have not got the ball, he's not a guy who's great at winning the ball high at the pitch or the counter pressing and all that stuff. But you carry him because he carries a goal threat. He pops up in dangerous areas, so he gets away with the other side of things. But to have two guys kind of floating about in there meant the midfield was non-existent at the first half. And I say, Kilmarnock just bossed it really. I did put pressure on Scales and Trusty, and Callum McGregor's completely exposed. He is. I mean, it leaves him completely exposed, so that has to be a problem. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is the answer. Depending on how he reacts. The good thing with Celtic is he's not going to play midweek against Stuttgart. Obviously, he's not in the squad, so he's got a week to recover. That's a good thing, but I think from now on, if he is anywhere near a level, he starts every week.
Yeah, I think in terms of the title race at the moment, the next two games with Stuttgart, as Mick says, Oxlade-Chamberlain can't play. He starts against Hibs, and then he starts the following weeks at Ibrox. He has to.
Got to.
On what we've seen. But even because of the support he gives to Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor was twice the player in the second half today because he's just got a bit of help in there.
But you also see a big difference when Chanchara comes off the bench. Yeah. Adamu, listen, you've got to be fair to the guy. He arrives late in the window. He scores his late goal against Dundee, the back heel, and he's a hero. Didn't do an awful lot when he off the bench against Livy. Gets his first start here. It's a difficult environment because a Killie side with their tails up. You know the pitch issues, the weather was pretty dodgy. So it's a difficult environment. Right? He didn't play well. He had a very poor 45 minutes. I wasn't surprised to see him get hooked at half time. Yeah. But Chankara come on, take the ball to feet, bringing in players. I mean, spinning for the goal. The big difference, a huge difference, giving Celtic something to build through and play off. It did change things. Oxlade-Chamberlain into Chankara. You noticed the difference from the first half. So that's a concern that he'd about a poor game. You look at the bench, no sign of Mavuka. 45 minutes against Dundee, not seen again. Yep. Balak we know is now living in Siberia. You've got, Benjamin Arthur came in deadline day, not in the squad. Dane Murray's ahead of him in the squad. Bernardo, nowhere to be seen. Martinel's finding guys that he trusts and finding guys he doesn't trust. And the concern is for Adamu, if he ends up in the Mavuka and Balak this week, that's a day of that whole deadline day is you're like questioning these guys that have come in. What was the point of all that stress?
Exactly.
So these guys, Mavuka, we need to wait and see. You can take it out the firing line. You might see him against Stuttgart because I think they might find that Celtic maybe prioritise domestic ahead of. I asked Martinelli about that. I asked him after the game. And he started off basically saying, "Yeah, I'm going to have to just patch it." Then he goes, "Well, actually, but I'll do like." I mean, it's like, you know what he's like. He kind of hedges his bet sometimes.
Yeah, no Celtic manager can be seen to be saying we're
No.
throwing this one in.
No,
Of course he can't. But
no, but he's
any of us are sensible enough to know.
yeah. I
Celtic,
think
Celtic aren't going to win the Europa League.
yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of checked himself. He started saying that, saying, "Listen, we're not going to win this competition." He didn't say that, but he said, "Listen, there's some big teams in this competition. It's only the last 24, 32 we call it. It's a long way for the business end of that. So we need to kind of thing." And he goes, "Well, but we're here now, and you can always hear them go like, well, I can't really say that. I can't really say it. This game's a pain in the neck.
Try to sell tickets.
I don't want this. I don't want to play this game." But yeah, so but I think if he chucks in those boys and say, right, find some form in that game, because they're not cut it so far in terms of domestically. But at the end of the day, it's a huge 3 points. Obviously, we don't know at this point in time what's going to happen elsewhere. But in terms of Celtic, they had to win today.
Yeah.
Well, they had to get 3 points and then go for there. And they just got there.
The only thing, the last thing though, guys, just before I let you go, is that they did have to win. Huge victory, celebrations at the end, brilliant. But is this sustainable to keep doing this in the last minute? I mean, it can't be, can it?
No, I said this on Friday that I think it was asked on one of the other shows, Game On, that you can't you can't go on like that. You can't. People say that's the mark of champions, and it is. If you're doing it 3 or 4 times a season, no every week.
Yeah.
You can't play. It's basically raffle ticket football. You've no control of games. So they're 50-50 games, really. And then you're just relying on moments. You're not going to keep getting away with that. Celtic need to start getting in control of games and dominating teams and at least giving themselves some breathing space.
But,
getting a game. When was the last game that they had? Dundee United at home, 2-0 up.
The harsh reality is
They don't have the players to do it.
Dundee, Livingston and Kilmarnock,
Yeah,
the three bottom teams in the league out of 4, 3 of the 4 bottom teams in the league, and they're required 97-minute goals.
They're living on the edge with every one of
Each
them,
of one to get a draw, and the other 2 to get narrow wins.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're playing against Rangers, Hibs, Aberdeen, Stuttgart. The next 2 weeks, they cannot play that level of performance. It will come back to bite them at some point. They need to get control of games.
Yeah,
they're not control. Like you say, they're not controlling games, and that's what they need to start controlling games at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be just a basketball match, and anything can happen in these matches.
We made this point in Hotline Live last Monday. 2 points would have been gone against them last Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's where Celtic are just living on that edge constantly. You cannot keep getting away with it.
Well, look, guys, I'll let you go now. Swanee, I know you live nearby, so I was going to say safe travels up the road, but I guess that still applies. So,
Swanee's making us dinner tonight. He's
nice one.
He's got the apron on tonight for making a bit of dinner for us.
What time do you want me and Keith round, Swanee? Will we?
I don't. You're breaking up here, Daniel. Sorry, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. I can't quite catch up.
There's only so far 1 packet of super noodles will go.
I hear the air fryer in the background. I can't hear anything else.
Guys, thanks so much as ever for joining us on the Hotline Live. Brilliant as always. I'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Plenty of comments coming in, guys.
He's even joking about the super noodles back.
I was laughing there.
Plenty of comments coming in about Celtic. Let me throw a few at you. Craig says, if this is Celtic at poorest, we're still winning. Teams should be very worried. Marzuno says, this will not be popular, but Celtic need to chuck it against Stuttgart. Just so everyone has niggles. Bengal says, can Kavanagh please just give Martin O'Neill 20 million to sit on his couch? It'll be better business than Chermiti. Daniel says, Celtic won't play any worse than today. We're going for it. We'll retain our title. Gillian says, Celtic will have peak performances before first of March. Still the best in the country. A lot about Patrick, though, says McGregor has finished. He's been brilliant, but might as well not be playing. Our midfield is the weakest in the whole league. So, plenty of comments coming in from... Sorry, actually, let me finish this one. AGSC Tech says, we need to renegotiate the Sky deal in summer. The SPFL is one of the most competitive in Europe. Now Sky need to be told we want a trophy wife style deal, and we are no longer down market. Can't agree more.
Well, they're certainly getting bang for the buck. That's for sure this season. And do you know something? There's the flip side of that coin is that Sky could have said for the last, I don't know how many years, you know, why are we even bothering? Because the outcome of the title seemed almost inevitable every time it kicked off in August. No, listen, I tell you what, the guys, the analysis from the 2 guys down at Rugby Park was absolutely spot on there, and just about everything they said. And that comment there about McGregor looks finished. What the guys said is absolutely spot on the money. McGregor needs help in there. He's getting absolutely swamped. And that's why it's the old one, isn't it? Gordon Strachan, I think it was, that used the phrase, if a bad game when you're 29, it's a bad game. If you're a bad game when you're 31, your legs have gone.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. Callum McGregor, yes, he's not getting any younger, but he's not getting any help. That's what the problem is in there. And, you know, we're talking about people being enigmas, like Chermiti, but also Nygren. I mean, Nygren floats his way through games. I don't think he contributes. He certainly doesn't help McGregor out. I don't know, sometimes you just think...
He scores every week.
He's worse than a man down, Scott. But every week he's popping up, and it's not just kind of goals that don't count. His goals are massively important. At huge moments in hugely important games. And yet, what is he actually contributing to the midfield throughout the 90 minutes? I guess, again, you know, the same argument with Chermiti. He's pitched in today when it really mattered for Rangers, and that's a huge contribution in a really important match. But Nygren has been popping up with these goals week in, week out. And where would Celtic be right now without them? So this is just why nothing makes sense anymore. I don't understand what I'm watching.
The boys said it there. In terms of Oxlade-Chamberlain, they need to get him starting. No, I mean, I don't know his physical fitness.
It should have been a great idea for him today, Scott. And
I'm sure
that in an ideal set of circumstances, I don't think he would have been on at half time on that surface. So, but yeah.
But he did make a big difference. We watched the second, or most of the second half in the press room at Ibrox, and you could see the difference, even without listening to commentary, and the Oxlade-Chamberlain made a huge difference to them.
It's worth saying as well, Scott, that Martin O'Neill said after the game, Engels will be out until after the next international break next month.
That's right.
It's a while he's going to be out. So.
And Hatate, the boys touched on it there. Hatate looks like he's checked out. Looks like a guy that was desperate for a move, hasn't got it, and can't get out of that kind of mood. So Oxlade-Chamberlain can't play in Europe, so he'll get a week now to recover. He has to start, I think, against Hibs, and then as the boy says, you would want him playing against Rangers at Ibrox, because he does give McGregor the help. The two of them actually dovetailed quite well for what I've seen in the game today, and I think they complement each other pretty well in terms of their styles as well. So they need to try and get him into the team. I mean, that's no excuse, and of course they still need more for Hatate and Nygren and Bernardo, who wasn't even involved today. I mean, they can't just get through the run-in, probably with the same two or three midfielders. But certainly when McGregor and Oxlade-Chamberlain are fit, then they're the two that you need in there if you're going to get a performance.
See, if it was up to you guys, would you chuck it, for want of a better phrase, against Stuttgart?
I tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not taking any risks. I would, and I think Martin O'Neill will do this. He'll put out as strong a team as he can do, but by being mindful of what's to come as well. I think the guys, again, analysis was spot on. I think some of the guys might come in off the fringes, and Martin O'Neill will probably say that one or two of his key men might be carrying something. I don't think Celtic will go into the game without their captain, but he is probably, there's another conundrum. He's probably the one guy that you'd probably want to give the night off, and just say, put your legs up. We've got bigger and more important games ahead. But I don't think I could see Martin O'Neill taking his captain out of the centre of that pitch, because I don't know what he's, you can't be certain of what's left. As Scotty said, Oxlade-Chamberlain's not going to be there. And I think that's the problem. And that is, and I keep coming back to it, and I will keep coming back to it. Martin O'Neill might be able to maintain this, right? You're saying, is it sustainable? I don't personally think so. I don't think you can keep going back to the well and keep scoring goals. I mean, Celtic seem to be forgetting how to win games within 90 minutes. As the guys said, they need to control matches. They're not, it's Hail Mary stuff. And that is not, for me, sustainable. However, this is a mad season and it's Martin O'Neill. It might be, who knows? But it comes back to January because he was crying out for an increase in quality and he hasn't got it. And it's making him, he's having to cobble this together. He's carrying out running repairs. 73-year-old man tearing his hair out, running up and down the sidelines. Celtic had an obligation to help him more than they did in January. And it's only because Martin O'Neill has keeps finding a way of these last minute or extra injury time miracles that it's not come back on the board as hard as it could have done by now. But I suspect it will do, because I just don't think he's got enough quality options at his disposal, which is why, as I said, when you go into this European game, can you even consider telling your captain to take the night off? Probably not. And that points to another January transfer window on the back of a really poorly strategised summer transfer window, which has created this mess. And Martin O'Neill's just desperately trying to spin plates at the minute to keep them alive, basically.
Jacko, I totally agree in terms of the January window and the squad. I mean, the fact that Mvuka, for instance, is at 45 minutes and then it's just completely bombed out. No, the boy in loan for Brentford bombed out already for the squad. Adamu comes in the day, no good enough. So, again, it looks a terrible window, and Martin O'Neill's not been helped at all. However, in terms of the European game, I totally understand what he's saying, what the boys are saying about it's no top of the priority list. But by the same token, can you really afford to get two scuddings off Stuttgart? I mean, this team are fourth in the Bundesliga. I mean, and
that's why Scott, the idea of taking Cal McGregor out of that midfield would terrify me if I was Martin O'Neill. That's
what I'm saying, because it could be a heavy defeat, two heavy defeats home and away. I don't think that helps your league cause. I know you can rest players and keep them fresh, and I know people saying, Europe doesn't matter, it's all about the league. I totally get that, but I don't think you can take downs in Europe, because I think that has an impact on players' morale, and it then impacts on the league games coming up. So Martin O'Neill somehow has to cobble a team together again. Of course, he'll leave a couple out on Thursday night. I think he probably has to. I think a couple of the fringe guys will need to come in, but I don't think he can change it too much. He will need to ask the same guys to go to the well again, because I don't think you can get into a game against Stuttgart, a big European game against Stuttgart, undercooked and risk a heavy defeat. I don't think that does him any good at all.
Yeah, morale and momentum. They're key. They're key, Scott, and that's why it's such a difficult balancing act for Martin O'Neill as he looks forward to this tie and tries to puzzle out his way through it.
Just before we finish, guys, my favourite long-running joke on the hotline is our fan Alistair Ramage, who's a Rangers supporter.
James Tavernier dropped. Look what happened. Every
night, without fail, he'll come on, and he's just popped up now saying Tavernier coming on was the only downside today. So, I mean, look, I've stuck up for Tavernier, but it's that kind of pettiness, that dedication I can get on board with, Alistair.
Come on, Ramage. Even he would have to admit that Tavernier actually did a good job for Rangers when he came onto the pitch.
He did okay with it, yep.
Very, very finally, guys, Motherwell. We've got a lot of love for Motherwell in the comments. Kenneth points out they're only 10 points now behind with a game in hand. Luke Skywalker says Motherwell have gone under the radar, slowly creeping up, capable of taking points off Rangers and Celtic during the split. I know we mentioned it a bit at the top of the show, but that was a big result for them. And by God, how rotten are Aberdeen? I mean, just so woeful.
Well, look at the money Aberdeen have spent, Daniel, compared to Motherwell. And the biggest compliment you can pay Motherwell today is that you expected absolutely nothing less for that game than just a comprehensive, comfortable win for Motherwell at home. With a clean sheet, I might add, because they always get clean sheets at Fir Park. The job Askew's done has been nothing short of incredible. We've spoken about it so many times. And as I say, just to get into that game today, after a tough game, obviously, against Rangers in midweek, but to just come up with a comprehensive win, put 3 more points on the board, keep yourself involved at the top. I mean, what the guy's right about one thing that put the comment in there. they are capable of taking points off anybody, including Rangers and Celtic, as they've shown already this season. So it might be just that they've probably given themselves too much to do to really get involved in the title race properly in terms of actually going trying to win it, which just sounds ridiculous. But they will certainly have a say in the destination of the trophy, because they've got all these teams at the top still to play.
Do you know, when you look at it and you look at how they perform as a team, the momentum that they're building, and it has been, they'll be quite delighted that the focus is on what we're calling a three-way fight just now, because they're just rolling over, ticking over, picking up the points. They play the way they play. They don't change, and they're terrific at it. And here's one, just out of badness. See, when this top six becomes the top six, would anybody actually write off Motherwell's chances of winning all 5 of their games?
No.
Because I wouldn't.
No, me neither. No,
I wouldn't. And by the way, that's when you've got Rangers, Celtic and Hearts all slitting each other's throats. So who knows? This season has gone through the looking glass so many times that it's really difficult to predict anything with any kind of certainty. But I could honestly put my hand in my heart and say Motherwell, against all top 6 sides, so the 5 games after the split, they're more than capable of winning all of them and taking maximum points. And where might that leave them?
We'll have to wait and see. But I think for tonight, guys, that brings us to the end of Sunday night's Hotline Live with Record Sport, even brought to you by NordVPN. Thank you for all the comments. Massively appreciate it. Thank you so much to Craig Swan and Michael Gannon at Rugby Park. And Scott, it's always an absolute pleasure having you remotely from Ibrox.
No problem, mate.
Safe travel up the road. Keith, see you later. Thanks. Oh, Keith, it's always a pleasure. We'll be back to do it all again at 6 p.m.
You're right the first time. See you later, wee man.
I've lost my train of thought now. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hope you can join us then. Thanks for watching. Cheers.